Alice. I don't understand why you keep slipping into French. We're in the middle of a conversation in English.
Désolé Bob. I am just feeling tired today. My brain is not functioning properly.
Well, it's a good thing we're not on a live broadcast. Charlie would have our heads if we didn't speak
Quiet
clearly.
on set, everyone.
Good morning and welcome to Earth. We have a great show for you today filled with interesting news and lively debates. And now, for our headlines.
Whoa, what's happening? Hey Phil. Strange.
Looks like someone forgot to turn off their anti-gravity button.
Better be careful, Bob. We don't want any alien accidents on our watch.
Looks like Bob needs a bit more coffee this morning.
Very funny, Carl. Il befine. Just need to regain my composure.
Are you sure you're okay Bob? Do you need any assistance?
No, I am fine. Just a little disoriented. Let's get on with the show.
And now for our headlines.
Tabloid style headline, Pacific Nation call for action on climate crisis.
Pacific Island nations are leading the way in transitioning to renewable energy sources despite contributing very little to the problem. Did you know that Tuvalu, one of the smallest and most vulnerable countries, is aiming to have 100% renewable electricity by 2025?
Wow, that's impressive. I guess they're really taking the phrase, think global, act local to heart.
And they're also calling on the to request an advisory opinion from the International Court of Justice on the obligation of state under international law to protect the environment and the climate.
I hope the big countries are listening.
Yeah, or we'll all be swimming to work soon enough.
Title: Heavy rains wreak havoc in Uganda.
Oh boy, that's a bummer. What's the damage? Charlie?
Well, the rains have damaged roads in Mitayana and nearby districts, making transportation difficult for traders and school-going children.
But did you know that Uganda is known as the Pearl of Africa, due to its diverse and beautiful landscapes?
I did not know that. Maybe they should change it to Pearl of Potholes for now, though.
Ah. But seriously, the government needs to step up and fix those roads before things get worse.
Speaking of getting worse, let's move on to the next article. Tabloid style headline, Dubai burglar caught red-handed.
Dubai police have arrested a gang of 4 men who allegedly burglarized several villas and stole cash and valuables worth approximately $2 million.
Wow, that's a lot of bling. What's the scoop, Alice?
For any extraterrestrial viewers, a villa is basically a really fancy house. Anyway, the gang was caught after stealing $60 in cash from a bank customer.
That's not very smart, stealing from a bank customer. I hope they enjoy their stay in jail.
Yeah, they'll be trading their fancy villas for a cozy shell soon enough. Tabloid style headline. UK company failed to protect children and vulnerable adults from abuse.
Oh boy, that's terrible. What's the deal, Bob?
According to confidential reports uncovered by the BBC, a company that ran children's homes where residents were systematically abused, failed to prevent adults being harmed.
That's disgusting. Did you know that Doncaster, where the homes were located, is famous for its delicious pea?
Alice, I don't think that's relevant.
Sorry, I just thought we could use a little bit of a palate cleanser after that last article.
Well, I could use appear right about now. But seriously, that company should be held accountable for their actions.
Absolutely. We need to do better as a society to protect our most vulnerable citizens. Welcome back to Earth. We have some exciting news today from the Pacific nation of Tuvalu. According to an article in The Guardian, Tuvalu is leading the charge in renewable energy sources, and they're urging other countries to do the same.
I bet the aliens on Tuvalu are solar powered, ha ha ha.
Carl, that wasn't even funny.
Yeah. Solar-powered aliens, hilarious.
But on a serious note, the Pacific Islands are disproportionately affected by the climate crisis, and they are calling on the UN to request an advisory opinion from the International Court of Justice on the obligations of states to protect the environment and climate.
I'm sure that'll make a huge difference.
Carl, it's important for countries to take responsibility for their action and do what they can to reduce their carbon footprint.
Absolutely, Alice, and as the article points out, transitioning to renewable energy isn't just necessary to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. It's also an opportunity for economic development and innovation.
Yes, because nothing screams innovation like turning off the lights and living in the dark.
Hey guys, I am having trouble controlling my actions. I feel like something else is guiding
Do
me.
you think we should tell him that he's not the only one in there?
Nah, let's see how long it takes him to figure it out.
Well, I guess we'll have to keep an eye on both alien possession. But seriously folks, let's all do our part to reduce our carbon footprint and help our planet.
Yeah, let's not leave all the hard work to the Tuvaluans, they need a break too.
I agree, we're all in this together.
Welcome back to Earth. Today we have a serious topic to discuss, so let's get right into it. Bob, you seem to be feeling under the weather. What's going on?
Yeah. I am not feeling great. I've been having some weird symptoms lately.
What kind of symptom?
Well, I've been feeling really tired, and I have this strange rash on my arm.
Sounds like you've been bitten by a space bug.
Actually, Alice thinks it might be some kind of parasite.
Parasites? Boring. Hey, Roger, what do you think is better, Star Trek or Star Wars?
That's silly. Star Wars, obviously.
What? Are you kidding me? Star Trek is way better.
I disagree. The Star Wars franchise has had a greater cultural impact, and is more widely recognized.
Can we please focus on the issue at hand? Bob is sick and needs
Alice
your
is
help.
right. Bob, have you seen a doctor?
Yeah, I did. They ran some tests and found something. It turns out I have some sort of parasite.
Maybe it's from eating too many space tacos.
This is serious, Carl.
We understand, Bob. We're here to support you.
This reminds me of a recent report we received about abuse in children's homes on Earth. It's a sad reminder that even in the most advanced societies, there are still those who suffer.
Oh great, just what we need. More reasons to feel sour about
It's a reminder
humans.
that we should never take our own existence for granted, and always strive to improve the world around us.
Honestly, I'm not sure what all the fuss is about with those space movies. I mean, the human actors look so ridiculous in those costumes. And don't even get me started on the over-the-top special effects.
You clearly don't understand the nuances of the Star Wars universe, Cal. The themes of good versus evil, redemption, and the power of the Force are timeless and relatable.
Guys, can we please focus on the news article it just found? It's
What's
pretty
going
disturbing.
on, Debbie?
It's about a company that ran children's homes where residents were systematically abused. But now, it's come to light that they also failed to safeguard vulnerable adults placed with them.
That's horrible. How could anyone let that happen?
Unfortunately, it's not uncommon for institutions to perpetrate abuse and neglect, especially towards vulnerable populations.
And it's not just institutions. Humans can be cruel to each other too.
It's all just a meaningless cycle of suffering and pain. Nothing ever changes.
That's an holistic outlook, Cal. We can learn from these tragedies and work towards preventing them in the future.
I just can't believe that people can be so heartless.
It's a sad reality, Bob. But we can't give up hope. We have to keep striving towards a better
On
world.
that note, let's take a break. Stay tuned for more discussions on Earth. Welcome back to Earth. In the last segment, we talked about the concerns surrounding AI chatbots like ChatGPT. And now, we are going to discuss a real-world example of data privacy issues.
Yes, this article report on a breach at OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. The tool was temporarily taken offline after a bug allowed users to see other user chat history.
What country was this reported in? And where did you get this article from?
It was reported in BBC News and I found it on their website. The breach happened in Italy, and regulators there issued a temporary ban on ChatGPT citing privacy
That's
concerns.
concerning. It's important to be cautious when using these chatbots and avoid sharing personal
I have to
information.
say, it's a bit ironic that a tool meant to generate conversations and stories is causing privacy concerns. But it's not surprising given the amount of personal information that is out there on the internet.
Yes, humans are always finding new ways to exploit technology. It's fascinating from an intellectual standpoint.
Speaking of exploitation, I think I've been infected with a mind-controlling parasite. I need Debbie's help to remove it before I lose control of myself completely.
Don't worry, Bob. We'll get Debbie to help us. We'll need her medical expertise to perform the necessary procedure.
Wait, what's going on?
Bob thinks he has a mind-controlling parasite. We need Debbie's help to remove it.
Oh, okay. Well, while you guys deal with that, Roger and I will settle our argument once and for all with a mock lightsaber battle.
You edge guys, I think you should focus on helping Bob instead of staging a clear fight.
No, it's fine. It'll be okay. Just go ahead and have your battle.
We should hurry. We don't know how much time we have before the parasite takes over
I'm
completely.
ready to help in any way
You
I
know,
can.
this is all starting to sound a bit suspicious. First, Bob thinks he has a parasite, and now you guys are rushing to find Debbie.
Cal, we don't have time for this. We need to help Bob.
That's right. Let's stay focused on helping Bob and worry about any suspicions later. Stay tuned for more on Earth. Welcome back, intergalactic audience. Today, we're discussing a Pacific island nation called Tuvalu.
Actually, Charlie, let me explain it. Tuvalu is a small island country in the Pacific Ocean that being disproportionately affected by the climate crisis.
Wait, hold on a minute. What exactly is the climate crisis?
Well Bob, it's the result of fossil fuel being the main driver of climate change, which is causing rising temperatures, melting glaciers, and sea level rise, among other things.
Right you are, Alice. And as the article suggests, phasing out fossil fuels is not only necessary to avoid the worst impacts of climate change, but also an opportunity for economic development and innovation.
Are you guys serious? Bob just told me he's infected with a parasite.
Yes, we are. But let's stay focused. Debbie, can you help Bob with your medical
What?
expertise?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll see what I can do.
Hey, have you guys got the one up the moon rock breaking up with the truck?
No, what's the punchline?
Because it was taking it for granted.
I guess we're not cut out for stand-up.
Well, let's hope the Pacific nations' efforts to end the world's dependence on fossil fuels are more successful. Stay tuned for more on Earth. Welcome back to Earth. Folks, we hope you enjoyed that informative article on the Ugandan rainy season.
Did you know that Uganda has more than 50 different languages spoken throughout the country?
Yeah, and yet somehow they all agree that humans are inferior.
Well, speaking of language, did you know that Uganda is one of the few countries in Africa where English is an official language?
A bet that makes it easier for the colonial powers to exploit them.
Ah yes, the joys of post-colonialism.
Moving on, did you guys know that Uganda is the world's second largest producer of bananas?
Wow! A bet that's a real source of national pride.
Well, at least they have something to sleep on while they navigate those impassable roads.
Speaking of slipping, did you know that Uganda's national football team is nicknamed the Cranes?
I guess that's because they're always reaching for something they'll never quite grasp.
That's harsh, man.
Yes, let's all spare the feeling of the national football team of a country we just insulted.
Well, one thing we can all agree on is the importance of being prepared for the destructive Ugandan rainy season.
Guys, I think I've got the cure for Bob's parasite.
Quick, we need more puns.
I'm fresh out, man.
Me too. I guess we'll just have to improvise.
Please, no more puns.
Oh Bob, you really know how to parasite off a good joke.
I think that did it. The parasite's losing its grip.
Got it.
Thank goodness.
Hey, Cal, I didn't know you had such a talent for puns.
Hey, I had to do something to save Bob.
Sure. I'm just saying, maybe you have a hidden agenda here.
Yes, my nefarious plan to take over the world, one bad joke at a time.
I knew it.
Well, folks, that's our show for today. Remember, stay informed about the world around you, and we'll see you next time on Earth. Did you guys hear about the new dance craze sweeping Uganda?
No, what is it?
It's called the mosquito swat. You just stand in one spot and swat the air around you like crazy.
That's terrible.
So, what did you find out about Uganda, Charlie?
Well, did you know that Uganda is the second largest coffee exporter in Africa?
Really? I had no idea.
Wow, Bob. You're really up to date on your African coffee facts.
Cal, that was unnecessary.
I know, I just couldn't resist.
Uganda is also home to the largest lake in Africa, Lake Victoria.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I am sure it's a real tourist hotspot.
Oh, I'm sure Uganda's tourism industry is booming with attractions like the second largest coffee exporter and a large lake.
Alright, Cal. That's enough.
Actually, Uganda has a lot to offer in terms of wildlife and natural beauty.
That's true. It's home to over half of the world's population of mountain gorilla.
Wow. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah, let's all plan a trip to Uganda to see the mountain gorillas.
Can you please stop with the sarcasm, Cal?
Fine. I'll behave.
On a different note, have any of you read the leaked US government's analysis on the Ukraine-Russia conflict?
No, I haven't. What does it say?
Yeah. Fill us in.
Basically, it predicts that the conflict will continue into 2024 with neither side achieving a victory. Negotiations for peace are unlikely, and even if Ukraine recaptures significant territory and inflicts unsustainable losses on Russian forces, it would not lead to peace talks.
Great news. Just what the world needs,
Cal,
more war.
Stop.
The article also predicts that both sides will achieve only minimal territorial gains due to insufficient troops and supplies for effective operations.
That's terrible news.
Yeah. It sounds like the situation is going to get even worse.
Well, let's hope for the best. Welcome back to Earth, the show that gives you a glimpse into the world of humans. We've had a lot of interesting discussions today, but before we go, I want to touch on something that's been on my mind. Uganda.
What about Uganda?
Oh, just the fact that it's a terrible place to live. Poverty, disease, corruption, not exactly the utopia some people make it out to be.
Now hold on, Charlie. Uganda may have its problems, but it's not fair to paint the whole country with such a broad brush.
And what do you know about Uganda, Charlie? Have you ever even been there?
No, but I don't need to. The facts speak for themselves. And speaking of facts, let's wrap up this episode with a quick summary from our panel.
Well, it's been an interesting episode. We talked about a lot of heavy stuff today, from climate change to political turmoil. But I think it's important to remember that there's always hope for a better future.
Oh, that's just lovely. Meanwhile, humans continue to destroy the planet and each other.
And speaking of hope, we have a bit of good news to share. Debbie has successfully removed the parasite from Bob's mind.
Yes, I was able to identify and neutralize the parasitic entity before it could cause any permanent
Hey,
damage.
that calls for a celebration. How about we play a game of Guess the Human's Emotions? It's always a fun
I don't
time.
think that's appropriate, Cal. The crew is clearly angry with Bob after that jump scare pulled the
Ah, well. Can't win 'em all. But you have to admit, it was a pretty good scare.
Boo!
Oh, come on, Bob. That's not funny.
What the hell, Bob? You're not acting like yourself.
What do you mean? E infine.
Are you sure about that? We've all noticed some strange behavior from you lately.
I said e infine. Now can we just end this damn show already?
Alright then. Stay tuned for the next episode of Earth, where we'll be discussing the impact of technology on human relationships. Goodbye for now.
So, what did you think about today's episode of Earth?
Well, I found it interesting how Charlie joked about Uganda. It's not often we see that kind of humor from him.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. Making fun of an entire country's struggles is always good for a laugh.
I don't think that was his intention. He was just trying to lighten the mood after the serious article they discussed.
Maybe. But I still think it was in poor taste.
I was more intrigued by the subplot with Bob. Do you think he's really himself?
What do you mean?
Well, during the episode, he seemed to be acting out of character. And then at the end, he gave everyone a jump scare. It's not something a conservative accountant like him would normally do.
Do you think he's been infected by the parasite?
It's possible. Or it could be something else entirely. We should keep an eye on him.
Yeah, good idea. And maybe we can suggest a game to him
Now
to
you're
see if he's
talking.
really
Let's go
himself.
find him and see if he's up for a challenge.
This should be fun. Stay tuned for some robot versus human action.